Correct, yeah. We will have a drone, but no read for it. And we'll probably do commercial break, end of the first quarter, and that's the only one you'll have. It'll be 90 seconds. Charleston all black, Jacksonville all white.
This is the Simulation Football League presented by 8 p.m. Music on the SFL Twitch network. Week 12 is here, and Charleston needs a win, and they are through to the playoffs. Jacksonville needs a win and a lot of help from teams around them. Which team wants it more? It's the Predators, it's the Kings. The fight for the playoffs culminates here for both ball clubs. Hello everyone, I'm Tyler Fault. Great to have you here in Fort Mallory Memorial Stadium, here in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. I'm joined by Mr. Arizona Everything and host of Say It With Your Chest, Eddie Gage. Eddie, hit it.
SFL Nation, y'all know what it do. Look to your brothers and your sisters to the left and right of you. Give them a toast to that tasty beverage you drinking and say it along with me. What up, though? We got week 12 action. It's the last game of the regular season. Both teams looking to make a statement towards next season. Some are fighting for their playoff lives. We got a barn burner here today. We got two teams, both looking to end the season off on the right foot and hopefully move towards a playoff stretch. Tyler, let's get it.
Absolutely, Eddie. And we mentioned earlier, it's an easy scenario for Charleston. Win and in, lose, and they'll have to deal with the whole 500 business being at 6-6. For Jacksonville, their road's a little tougher there, Eddie. They have to win and hope that 4 teams lose in order for them to maybe even sniff the playoffs.
It's going to be tough, but it is possible. I think back to the days of the Houston Hyenas. I believe it was in season 12 in which they won their last 3 games to win 5 games and needed 3 teams to lose, all who played behind them. The scenarios played out perfectly. The gods were on their side, and they went playoff hunting. They won a first-round matchup versus the Chicago Wildcats before losing to the eventual champion Denver Nightwings.
And here we go from Charleston, and the return will get underway for Jacksonville. This return is going to be Kingston Ellington on the return. And meanwhile, before we go ahead and get into this game, you mentioned Houston. They did knock off Mexico City earlier, and so maybe here in season 17 they'll rekindle a little bit of that magic. They're in a very tough spot as well.
Yes, they are. They came down to a barn burner. They stopped Hall of Fame tight end Mike Dax on a 2-yard line as time expired. Houston holding on for a playoff berth.
And meanwhile here, as we get going, it's Marcus Dunhill and his return to SFL action. He was previously with the champion Atlanta Swarm, and now he makes his return to Jacksonville. This is his 12th game with the club, but he starts off game number 12 with a nice pass over the middle, and they immediately convert on first down.
First down to a wide open Willis on the end cut.
Second play of the drive, it still remains first down, and Dunhill's going to be in the gun. To his left is the halfback, Jared Willis, and we'll touch on the rest of the starters here in just a moment. Play action to Willis. He'll float it over the middle, and it hits the backside of the defender. It falls incomplete. Tim Sims was just in the right area, and that'll give us a moment to check out the Kings offensive lineup. Grayson Willis is the wide receiver. He lines up along with Kingston Ellington and Shea Carroll, also at the wide receiving spots. We mentioned Marcus Dunhill and Jared Willis, quarterback and halfback respectively. And they got 4 contracted linemen: Robert Cron, Olivia Bleeker, Alden Bleeker, and Brian French, all on the offensive line for Jacksonville. Play action again. Dunhill under pressure, and he's taken down from behind for the sack. As coming to meet him from behind was John Lawley. in his first season in the SFL. He's a rookie coming out of Mass and makes a big impact here early on in the ball game.
Coverage sack there by Jacksonville. Marcus Dunhill, season 14 MVP. He needs to know better than that. Either throw that ball away or scoot and scramble with it.
3rd and 14 now for the Kings as they need to get to beyond the 48-yard line to convert. Dunhill fires near side, picked up on the sideline. That's excellent coverage by Johnny Bravo, and the Charleston Predators have a little bit of life.
Johnny Bravo got his left foot down. I believe this is going to stand as an interception for Jacksonville. They're going to get great starting field position just short of the midfield.
The defense provides the fuel to the fire early on for the Predators defense, and so quickly, here come the Predators onto the field. Their offense led by T.D. Drew. He spent all 6 seasons of his career with the ball club. Drew will hand off on the first play of scrimmage to Keith Swearingen, and Swearingen gets away from a tackle, and it's a big scamper on first down for Swearingen. 1 man to beat down to the 5 and tackle at the 4.
Wow, I thought he was going to take that one to the house, but Jacksonville, Connor Darien, a cornerback, saved what would have been a touchdown. And I'm telling you, I've seen it the past couple of weeks. I'm not sure what he's been working on in practice, but he's been a bit more of an elusive running back toward these past few games of the season. Looks like he's got his career on the right path moving forward with Frank at the helm.
And at one point, there has been mentions of, the Charleston Predators maybe trying to spread the ball a little bit too much in the passing game, not really taking care of the run game, and immediately a 49-yard scamper courtesy of Stephen Hacker on the stats truck gets this offense rolling. 1st and goal, Drew will find Swearingen on the swing route, and Swearingen takes it in himself, and just like that, the Charleston Predators have an early lead.
You could not ask for a better start for this Charleston Predators team. They come out in the field, get a stop, force a turnover, get great field position, and the offense capitalizes on that short field by getting a touchdown. Keep Swearingen, 7-0 extra point pending for this Charleston franchise.
We got still people finding their seats here in the stadium and back home in the Twitch chat wondering what just happened, but Charleston, with the turnover, Eddie, like I mentioned, go on a 2-play, 53-yard drive, and it was all Keith Swearingen on both plays. On comes Brad Bretchet on to attempt the extra point. Snap spot, kick is up, and Charleston will lead 7-0 with 9:05 in the first quarter.
And you hit it right on the head. Jack Wall just getting settled in, saying he missed it and was just saying, good luck, Charleston. He looks up, and Charleston is already up 7-0.
Bretchet now will go and head and get us going once again. Charleston starting off on the right foot as Bretchet boots it downfield for Ellington to return. He muffed the kickoff return, and somebody else has to make the return. Going the other way, this is a terrible start to the football game for the Kings.
This reminds me that moment there of a game between St. Louis and Baltimore, week 3, the week of the convention, in which they had a terrible start to the first quarter. And on the kickoff return, the same thing happened. They muffed it and ended up getting tackled around the 2-yard line. And Baltimore capitalized a few plays later.
Now they're backed up in their own territory. Can the Kings offense respond? Dunhill takes a 5-step drop, fires over the middle to the waiting arms of Kingston Ellington, and he makes up for muffing the kickoff to bring the ball in this time around.
I mean, talk about throwing into the teeth of the fire there. Charleston came out in a cover 2 defense, and there were at least 3 defenders right there waiting for the ball, but no one was able to come down with it for Charleston.
2nd and short now for the Kings on their own 17. The wideouts to the left, 2 ends to the right. Dunhill will look over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands. A Talon steal the tight end, and it brings up 3rd down.
That play right there you just seen from Jacksonville is a Jacksonville special. They love to line those running backs off to the left or right of the quarterback and give them an easy route out into the sidelines should it be a short need for a short, 2nd and short situation.
Yeah, and Willis will be offset of the quarterback in the backfield. Dunhill will look for Willis on the swing route, and I had almost about 10 yards of space between him and Johnny Bravo, and it's an easy first down conversion for the Kings.
It was an easy first down conversion because Charleston came out in a cover 12 defense, basically giving you anything you want up underneath, trying to take away the deep route. But Marcus Dunhill, he's seen it all before, just chucks it off into the flat for an easy first down conversion.
After throwing the interception on the last drive, he's been much more composed here on drive number 2. 1st and 10 now from his own 23. He's going to line Willis again on the swing route. He tried to escape Corey Menner, the other cornerback, but gets taken down after a gain of 2. And here are the Predators' defensive starters. Joseph Sabolka, John Lawley, and Dick Baker are the defensive linemen, with Jack Brown, who got his first career pick 6 last week. Alongside him in the linebacking spot is Jack Hoffman. Johnny Bravo with the interception earlier in the ball game lines up with Corey Menner at the cornerback spot. Josh Reese, Tommy Zanardi, and Josh Domingo and Zach Lay are all 4 of the starting safeties. And on that particular play, Willis goes nowhere as he's tackled by Jack Brown.
Yeah, he got no push from his offensive line right there, making it an easy play for the linebackers to converge in and make that tackle.
Another big 3rd down, and Jared Willis is nowhere to be seen. They've got 4 wide receivers, 3 on the trips left in the formation. Deep bomb far side, and that was pretty well covered by Corey Menner, and it's an easy deflection. He could have brought that in for a pick, but it falls incomplete, and Jacksonville will send out the punting unit.
50 XA post, pretty much every team in the SFL runs it. Charleston seen that before. They were ready for it, and they're going to force a punt. And Jacksonville, 2 quick drives, and their offense is off the field again.
They're able to get a little bit more breathing room from deep in their own territory, but not enough to convert there on the second first down, and so they have to punt it away. And it's Howard McCoy on to punt it away, and it's a fair catch called for by Jay Taylor, and the Charleston Predator offense will retake the field.
Once again, second drive, they're going to get great starting field position at the 41-yard line. Charleston looking taking advantage of this situation.
TD Drew didn't get a whole lot of time to introduce you to the Predator offense, as Swearingen went on an absolute tear for a quick 2-play drive last time around. We'll see if we get a chance to introduce you to the Predator offense this time around. Drew looks to throw, pressure coming, and he does get the ball away as he was being hit by Mike All, and Mike All was all over TD Drew.
Speaking of being all over it, number 90, the outside linebacker for Jacksonville, Yokov Zolotov, was hoping he got that pass off because he was waiting to blow up the running back in the backfield.
Now here comes the Predator offense here on 2nd down. Jacksonville stacked the box. I think that's all 11 members of the club on the line, and one of them gets a little jumpy and will jump offside. Swearingen will turn the corner, breaks off 1 tackle, and is tackled a yard shy of the line to gain. And I'm pretty sure they'll take those yards, and it'll be 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, they're going to decline this penalty.
Oh, a couple of different penalties, an eligible receiver downfield and
Offsetting.
Offside. And so the penalty's offset, Eddie, like you said, and they'll replay 2nd down.
Oh, oh my goodness. I'm sure the receivers coach is pretty upset about that one.
When's the last time in the SFL you've seen an offset penalty, Eddie? I don't think there has been too many of those.
I haven't seen it too often. Every now and again it happens, but when it does, it's always just an unfortunate event, and particularly for the offense.
So it's as you were then, from their own 40. And off Swearingen up the middle, he's met almost immediately by Succolomano and company for minimal yardage, and it's 3rd down again.
Yeah, this Jacksonville defense, I tell you, they got a big defensive tackle up there in Hunter Norwood, and he makes life a lot easier for the back half of this defense to converge in and make plays.
Predators will spread the field with 4 wide receivers, and Swearingen off to TD Drew's right. Dime look from the Kings as Drew's back to pass. Pressure coming. He floats it over the middle into tight coverage, and it's hauled in by Buchanan Simons. Probably not the first time we'll call his name today.
It probably won't. He's their big play guy. Whenever you need a strike downfield, he's usually the guy that they rely upon. And I'll tell you what, he knew he was about to get blown up catching that pass, but John Martin laid into him, the inside linebacker, but he did a great job of holding on to it.
High formation here on this new set of downs. Drew looks to throw. It's going to be a swing pass for Swearingen on the outside. He tries to spin away from one, and who does get blocked, but then is taken down after a gain of 4. And let's say hello to everybody on the Predator offensive lineup. TD Drew is the quarterback. Ski Swearingen is the halfback. Ken McCarr, Buchanan Simons, and Jay Taylor are the wide receivers. Terrell Sutherland is the fullback. Lyric Da Vinci, the tight end. And one standout guard is on that offensive line. That's Fred Dukes, who spent 3 seasons with this ball club. Jacksonville packing in everybody on the line again. They'll run up the middle with Swearingen. He gets by the first wave of defenders and will pick up a huge gain and a new first down.
And that's the risk you take anytime you decide to pack all the defense inside. If he gets past that first wave, it's going to be very difficult. Bringing a tailback life keeps Swearingen down once he gets out that open field.
That's just the power football we love to see here in the SFL. Power offense versus power defense. And that time, the offense came away victorious with a huge gain. And now the Predators, from the 31 of Jacksonville, have a new set of downs. He drew another swing pass for Swearingen near side. He breaks one tackle, but is thrown to the turf by Taquan Hale, who also lines up with Hunter Norwood, Mike Gull, and Marcus Sledge on that defensive line, with John Martin, Yakov Zolotov at the linebacking spots. Connor Darien, Bernard Gooden are the corners, and Greg Gaines and Succolomano are the safeties on the Jacksonville Kings defensive side of the football. I formation again here for Charleston. Defensive linebacker shift over to the far side of the field, and they get into the backfield to stop Swearingen before he can get anything going, as he's tackled by Hunter Norwood in the backfield.
Yeah, we talked about those defensive tackles for Jacksonville. I'm not sure if you've seen number 90. I called his name a moment ago. Yakov Zolotov. He was in a foot race trying to get to the quarterback. He looks up and the ball is going right by him. But I tell you, that guy is amped up right now. Look out for him today.
He looks hungry today, doesn't he, Eddie? As him and his ball club are trying to maybe sneak into the playoffs with a win here against Charleston and a little help from other teams. As Drew's back to pass over the middle, tipped and picked up for Jacksonville, and that's the kind of response you need when you're down by 7 early on in a football game.
Wow, what a play off the tip drill. Succolomano comes up with the interception, and wow, talk about taking advantage of opportunities. The ball was tipped. He didn't just celebrate that moment. He stayed keyed in on it, came up with the football, and it's going to be Jacksonville's offense out on the field.
The rookie inside linebacker, John Martin, helped out with the crucial tip, which gave Succolomano the interception. And now the Kings will start their drive from the 16. Another drive for them, Eddie, which starts backed up on their own field, own territory. Dunhill looks far side, picked off, and it was read perfectly by Corey Menner. What a play from the corner.
Corey Menner coming out with his 14th career interception. We talked about this a moment ago. Jacksonville loves to line up those tailbacks off to the left or right of the quarterback and send them out to the flats. Charleston knows this. They come in prepared for it and talk about taking advantage of what you see on film. Charleston comes up with an interception to give the ball right back to their offense.
And just like that, Charleston's offense retakes the field in excellent field position. Drew looks to throw and make Jacksonville pay over the middle. Caught and touchdown! It's the Charleston Predators again, and it's Lyric Da Vinci with the touchdown.
Lyric Da Vinci takes advantage. This is Charleston's third possession with short field position, and the second time they've been able to catch it, capitalize on it with a touchdown. And Charleston coming out to make a statement today. They got a tough win last week in which their offense only scored 6 points. They won 13-6, with the difference being a pick 6 by Jack Brown. And just like that, today, already with not even 8 minutes played, their offense has put up 14 points.
Da Vinci with his 8th touchdown on his career, only his first of the season, as Brechet snap spot kick is up and good, and the Predators have an early 14-0 lead. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy as Brechet boots it downfield again. And this time it's hauled in cleanly by Kingston Ellington. Makes a solid return back up to the 25-yard line.
Tyler, I love that line. Whoever came up with that needs a promotion. We put the fan in fantasy.
It's one of the staples here in the SFL, and I agree. I mean, if there was a promotion to be given, I think that person 100% deserved it. Was that you, Eddie? Are you just...
It was not me.
First and 10 for Jacksonville starts off with a handoff to Jared Willis, who sneaks by a couple defenders, and I think it's given maybe a poor spot as he's marked short of the first down marker.
Yeah, I thought his knee was down after he passed that first down marker, but it's a good thing they made that tackle, because if they did not, Jared Willis is still running right now.
I think we're saying he's loose, but this time he gets wrapped up, and it's second and short as the coverage backs off on the outside, now starts to creep back in here as the Kings go into the shotgun. Via play action to Willis. Dunhill fires near side, and that's a good open field catch by Jack Wall and a solid open field tackle by Johnny Bravo, but it's a first down for the Kings.
Jack Wall is having his best season here as a Jacksonville King. I don't remember him being this involved as he was in previous seasons.
Just to put it all in perspective, right now Jack Wall he's closing in on 1,000 receiving yards on the season. He's gotten close. He right now leads his team in total receptions. That was his number, I think, 96 reception on the season, closing in on number 100. As Dunhill will find Shea Carroll on the near side. His first season from San Diego has been a decent one, and it's 2nd and 7 coming up.
And just to even elaborate on that fact, coming into this game, he had 2,389 yards. He's approaching 1,000 for this season, and this is his 4th season in the SFL.
Bunch set near side. Here on 2nd and 7. As Johnny Bravo on the near side couldn't quite make up what to do as they run away from Bravo with Jared Willis, and he's taken down after a short pickup, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
I would be running away from Johnny Bravo too. He's a big linebacker.
And that time it was Jack
Brown. Excuse me.
Comes up with the tackle. Bravo on the near side was having a little fit, but Brown makes a tackle, sets up this 3rd down play as the Kings come out with 3 wide receivers. There'll be a quick out route near side, hauled in by Kingston Ellington. First down yardage and a couple more as he's eventually tackled by John Stamango.
That's another staple of Jacksonville's offense. They love to line up 2 receivers to one side of the field, run a quick 5-yard out route for the slot receiver while the other receiver runs deep, either on a go route or a skinny post. If you're going to defeat Jacksonville, you have to find a way to minimize the effectability of that play.
See what they do. They have picked off a couple of Dunhill's passes today. We'll see if they can keep it up. Pass near side, hauled in, caught by Talon Steele. He's 1 of 2 on targets to receptions today.
Yeah, despite it's so hard sometimes to figure out the issues from today. I mean, Charleston been able to capitalize, but Jacksonville's offense, for the most part, has looked pretty fluid.
Gun straight package on the field here for Jacksonville on the 2nd down. Dunhill looks far side, and it's out of the reach of Grayson Willis as Dunhill led his receiver a little bit too far.
That's the 2nd time they've run that play, and both times they attacked the corner, Corey Menor, and both times he's been ready for it. Once he he bumped the receiver's route, as you've seen just right there, and the other time he batted the ball down. So Corey's been doing a great job out there today.
Meanwhile, in the game going over on FTF Twitch, Florida looked like they were running away with it. Now Carolina gets a touchdown to try and inch back in it late in that 4th quarter. Dunhill to throw here on 3rd down. Looks over the middle. A diving attempt and nearly picked off by Zach Clay. An excellent defensive effort nonetheless.
Charleston is showing some great individual efforts out here by several members of this team. And had that ball, had he been able to secure it, I think he lost it when he hit the ground. Otherwise, that would have been another interception for Marcus Dunhill.
And one to add to maybe the top 10 highlights of another spectacular grab. Instead, the Kings will punt it away as they trot out Howard McCoy. A high spiraling punt angling toward the near side of the field. It'll drop at the 10, and it'll be right there in the coffin corner, out of bounds at the 4-yard line. An excellent punt from Howard McCoy.
An excellent punt indeed. And for the first time today, Charleston's going to be forced to drive practically the length of the field if they're going to score a touchdown. And Jacksonville defense, on the other hand, is going to try to stop them to give their offense great field position themselves.
You have the lead up by 14. Currently pitching a shutout. You're very late here in the first quarter. This might be the first and only play of the drive, which ends up being in the first quarter. Handoff, Swearingen gets by 1 and is stood up at the line of scrimmage and taken down for no gain.
It'll be a 2nd and 10. That's going to do it for the first quarter here, Tyler.
First quarter is in the books. 3 more quarters to go, and the Predators are 3 quarters away from punching their ticket in the playoffs. The Kings now by 14 need to respond. You're watching the SFL on Twitch, presented by APM Music. We'll be right back.
What's up, everyone? I'm Doug. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug.
I'm Doug Brown, running back, Mud Dogs. That's Potty, Kicker, Dragons. That's Benny Butcher, DT, Dragons. We the Simpot, the late night SFL podcast. Check us out on YouTube and Twitter.
Second quarter of action from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm Tyler Falk. He's Eddie Gage. Thanks for joining us here on week 12 here in the SFL. Another run up the middle for Swearingen goes nowhere. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play as their rivals to the north in Carolina, the Skyhawks, are officially eliminated out of the playoffs. Matt South threw 7, count them, 7 interceptions in the loss to Florida. And Florida, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, they have now officially clinched 2nd seed in those playoffs.
Correct, Tyler. They have it locked in at number 2 seed.
He drew, passes near side to a spinning receiver, and it's caught and good enough for a first down to Jay Taylor.
Wow, Jay Taylor comes up with that football, but I tell you, it's TD Drew who made the pass. If you can see here on the replay, to his outside shoulder. Otherwise, that ball is probably batted down, if not deflected, intercepted.
It was a pretty tight window indeed. As I didn't think it was going to Taylor. I thought it was going to the receiver who ran that stop route there, Eddie.
Look can always be deceiving. I tell you what, I'll tell you a short story when we get a moment.
Absolutely. We'll come to that in a second. Drew back to pass again. Looks near side. Hauled in by Lyric Da Vinci, who got his first touchdown of the season on the last drive. This time, picks up enough for the first down.
Yeah, nice steady offense. You know, you're trying to be conservative here, deep in their own end to avoid mistakes, and so far they've done a good job of it.
Everybody's jumping into the chat. We say hello to a couple of them. Jack Wall, Black Sphinx 81. Stephen Hacker joins us. Ashley Jackson just jumped in. Hello to everybody watching wherever you might be here this afternoon. Swearingen on the call to the outside. Has a lane down the sideline. 1 man to beat. He struggles out of that tackle and is finally taken down at the 46.
All right, Jax, you got 3 tight ends on the field, which makes things very hard trying to defend a run game when you got 3 tight ends along with all those offensive linemen blocking for you. It's a Mexico City special. I've seen Houston adopted 2. Arizona, you can include us on that list as well. That's a difficult play to stop.
Steven Hacker in the stats trucks lets us know that's the third first down in a row here on the drive, and it's back-to-back first downs. Handoff up the middle for Swearingen, makes one man miss, and then is taken down at the line of scrimmage by Taquan Hale.
John Martin, he didn't make the tackle, but he slowed him down and allowed his teammates to get over there and corral, meet at the football and make the play.
Now it's 2nd and 10 for Jacksonville on their own. 2nd and 10 for Charleston on the Jacksonville 45. 2 wide receivers out to the left, I formation behind TD Drew. A run toward the near side with Swearingen, but the Kings read that one perfectly. They get behind the line and take down Swearingen for a loss.
You know how sometimes, Tyler, you hear in the chat, why is the safety coming down, stay in the backfield? That's why right there, to help out in the run game. Sucker Lomano came flying down there in run support and helped make that tackle.
A mismatch. 3 DBs on the near side covering 1 wide receiver. Meanwhile, there's 4 up to the top. Yes, and maybe that's why they were in zone coverage and knocked it away perfectly. Bernard Gooden gets his mitts on it and sets up 4th down.
We've seen Bernard Gooden come up with that on many occasions. I'm surprised he didn't bring that one in. Perhaps he didn't bring his hands together. You got to catch it with 2 hands, young fella. He tried, was unable to do so, and you got to make that diamond shape with the football. You can see right there his hand separated on the replay, and that's why he was unable to come down with that interception.
Looked like it bounced off his left hand. Maybe just needs to get back and get to the jugs machine a little bit so he can make a couple of those catches next time out. But he does set up this 4th down play, and the Predators will send on Wally Saddle to punt it away to Kingston Ellington.
Open the pin, Jacksonville deep.
It downfield, fair catch called for by Ellington, and he brings it in safely at the 14-yard line. Are you a next-level SFL fan? Visit the SFL League website at simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player and to join our community. Check out League Leaders. We've got stats from all 17 seasons of the SFL action and track game, season, and career numbers of all the players over time who have gone from couch to field. The Simulation Football League, 17 seasons strong. Dunhill will hand off to Jared Willis, and he bounces it out to the far side. It's a good decision that gets him 4 yards, but beating him there at the 18 was Josh Reese. Josh Reese. There we go.
That was great patience right there by Jared Willis. He took that ball. There was nothing inside. He bounced it outside and was able to pick up 4 yards.
Dunhill comes out under center once again. He'll have a bunch set to the near side of the field. Coverage backs off from the corners. A handoff for Willis again. This time he's met in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of 1, and Zach Lay makes another good play today.
Yeah, the guard right there, Robert Crone, he's the one who unfortunately was unable to keep his responsibility of blocking his man and forced Jared to bounce it outside where there was nowhere to go.
Unstraight formation, trips to the right this time around. Dunhill looks toward that far side. It's caught, but out of bounds. Shea Carroll did not get a foot down. You only need 1 here in the SFL, and it was 0 too many.
Let me tell you a quick story, Tyler. Right there, we just seen Jacksonville, and what I believe is going to be challenged, though. Wow. Frank Gooden didn't like that call.
It's a tight call there on the sideline. We go under the hood with R62, and hey, we've been holding off on the story for a while, but let's take a look at this under the hood.
Yeah, I thought he got bumped, but he actually did. It was a clean release, and on the replay, he got his left foot down. I think this is going to get overturned.
It's a tight call. Let's see what the call is.
And it stands.
They say that he didn't even get a finger or a toenail down there on the sideline, and that'll lose a timeout for Jacksonville, and they'll be forced to punt it away.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call, Tyler. I thought he got his left foot clearly was inbounds.
Well, instead, it shocks us. It shocks the chat. And now we see Howard McCoy. He had an excellent punt last time out. This time he's backed up in his own territory, and he launches it downfield to about the 45, where Taylor will take charge of it. He only gets a couple yards per turn, and maybe now, Eddie, we get to hear a little story time from him.
Well, I've played all over the field, Tyler. I've played offensive line one half a game. I've played linebacker. I've played corner. I've played safety, both free and strong. And when you tend to move around, it's funny how the game looks coming from different angles, and it's all of a sudden trying to like learn a new language sometimes, Tyler.
All right, 1st and 10 for Charleston. Drew looks to throw. He dumps it off for Swearingen, who puts him in a turf, spins uphill, and gets past the 40 and down to the 30-yard line. An excellent open field run from Keith Swearingen.
And this is what I'm talking about right here, what I mentioned earlier in the game. Keith Swearingen has always, for as long as I've seen him, been a north-south runner. But this season, and particularly over the last few games, the productivity isn't always short in the numbers, but you're starting to see some of the elusiveness that Keith Swearingen is capable of. We've already seen him stiff-arm people. We've seen him do that throughout his career. But to see him make people miss like that, that's something I'm not used to seeing out of Keith Swearingen. And moving forward in future seasons, I'm sure he has a lot more to display.
Man he put in the turf was Yakov Zolotov, a man we've mentioned earlier, especially you, Eddie, have really liked how far he's developed and how well he's played here today. We'll see if he makes amends for getting shoved in the turf as Swearingen this time goes backwards, and it's an almost immediate reply from this defense. Credit Succolomano with the tackle, but that was an entire defensive effort.
Yeah, Succolomano was in on the play, but also in the play was John Martin. He called his name a couple of times today. There were a number of Jacksonville Kings, like they were having a meeting over there for a moment.
Wide receivers near side, I formation behind TD Drew.
Look at Jacksonville.
Again, pressure coming, hit as he throws, finds a man, and it's caught by Ken Maccaro for his first reception of the ball game, and he gets them inside the 10-yard line.
I didn't quite see the defense, but there was pretty much everyone lined up on or near the line of scrimmage except for one player. And as long as the quarterback, TD Drew, gets time and he has a receiver running downfield, which he did running a skinny post there, that spells danger for this Jacksonville defense. And sure enough, Charleston capitalizes on it.
Inside the red zone, inside the 10, they'll trot out the same exact formation, do the Predators. Jacksonville creeping up on that line of scrimmage. TD Drew looks again, looks for Maccaro again, and then Ken Maccaro gets the last two plays. He gets his number called twice and will reward the Charleston Predators and is going to blow this game wide open.
The offense of this of this Charleston team has just been taking advantage of all the short field opportunities they've been getting. They got another one here just now, and they scored yet another touchdown. And Jacksonville has to be wondering what quite has hit them today, because prior to this game, Charleston was only averaging 18 points a game, 18.7 to be exact. So to see them put up 21 points extra point pending, and we still have 5 minutes left in this first half, it's a surprise to most people right now.
Very quick drive, 4 plays all told and 52 yards, culminating with a snap spot. Kick is up and good from Brad Bretchett, and it's 21 to donut here midway through the second quarter. SFL fans, have you ever wondered what it would be like to play in the SFL instead of sitting on those sidelines? For the newest SFL participants, the SFL's minor league, otherwise known as the SFLM, it kicks off its 4th season next Friday, October 15th. The SFL's YouTube channel is home to all the minor league action at youtube.com/simulationfl. To get on the field and into the action, visit simulationfl.net to create a player today. Return for Ellington will get him back out to the 25, and that is where the Kings offense will take over.
Speaking of where to find SFL action, in a previous game today, Tyler, there was a young man, I believe his name was Elijah. He was asking a ton of questions about SFL action and where does he go to get started. I'm so happy they got the information to him, because he fell in love with our product just about an hour ago.
And we'll hopefully get to see more of Elijah, maybe on a future SFLM team. We'll have to wait and see. Dump off for Jared Willis on that far side. He turns upfield, picks up 3 before being knocked out of bounds by Johnny Bravo.
And with just over 5 minutes left in this half, Marcus Dunhill needs to find a way to manufacture points, whether it be a field goal or hopefully for Jacksonville a touchdown, and put some kind of points on the board to get his team some confidence moving toward the second half.
Second down, Charleston comes out in a 4-3 as Jackson comes up with an offset eye. Dunhill to throw. It's a dump off over the middle as he was given plenty of space. Talon Steele comes up with another reception, but probably another cover 12 look there from Charleston there, Eddie.
It was actually quarters coverage, cover 4 that time, in which the linebacker, he only waits a moment before he bails up out of there. He's trying to take away anything deep. And Marcus Dunhill, the season 14 MVP, he knew what was going on. He just dumped it off and got an easy first down.
Take the easy passes to march him down the field. Dunhill trying to lead his team back into the playoffs. Pass over the middle, caught by Shea Carroll. And he's going to need to be confident and composed and concise with his passes if they want to get back into this football game down by 21.
And you can see clearly what Charleston's game plan is. They're trying to take away all the deep passes right now, hoping to keep the clock ticking and forcing Jacksonville into a mistake.
Tight ends, both of them on the near side as the wide receivers go on opposite sides of the field. Linebackers shift to the line of scrimmage. Willis gets the call on 2nd and short, and he can't find any running room. Tackled by Josh Reese and Dick Baker at the line of scrimmage.
Jacksonville, the only team in the SFL to hire 4 contract offensive linemen, looking to get some work done for Jared Willis and protect their quarterback. They're young right now, so it's going to take some time to get where they need to go. But once they get there, Jacksonville, they look for brighter days ahead.
I'm all for getting contracted linemen as this pass here on 3rd down is caught by Shea Carroll, and it's going to be good enough for the first down. And to your point there, Eddie, I have been a huge proponent. If I was in charge of an SFL team, I would contract all 5 of my linemen to be in that regard, because I think linemen are that important. Yes, they're all new, like you said, but I think with time and development, this will be one of the best offensive lines in the SFL.
I wholeheartedly agree. I have 2 of them, and I wish I had more, Tyler.
Willis with the call up the middle. He gets a whole head of steam 6 yards before his head was nearly taken off by Jack Brown.
Yeah, he showed great burst out of there, getting out of his stance and picking up what looked like to be 6 yards on that play. I thought he was going to be gone for a moment, but they did a great job of closing that hole and corralling to the football.
Straight package here on 2nd and medium. Trips near side. Dunhill to throw. Looks near side. It's into coverage, and it's in and out of the hands of Grayson Willis. Well, let me guess. Corey Manor on the near side.
That's the 3rd time they've dialed up that play out of gun straight, looking to attack Corey Minner via Grayson Willis. And all 3 times, Corey Minner said, "Sir, no suit for you, batted that ball away." And it's going to be 3rd down here for Jacksonville.
He has played lights out. This entire defense for Charleston has played lights out. Now they got to try and stop him on 3rd down again. Jacksonville so far today, they're 3 of 7 here on 3rd downs. 3 wide receivers as Dunhill changes the play at the line. Coverage now playing right at the line to gain at the 37. Willis with the call, taken down by Jack Hoffman. A crunching tackle, and again the Kings have to punt.
Cover 3 strong that time is what Charleston dialed up, and they dialed it up at the right time. They have the strong side of their defense all collapsing down into the line of scrimmage, and they meet the running back at the line of scrimmage and force a punt.
McCoy on to punt it away again. This time it's going to bounce at the 10, takes a Charleston bounce into the end zone, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. The Charleston Predators have a huge 21-point lead and the football here to end the first half. You're watching the Simulation Football League here on SFL Twitch, presented by 8 p.m. Music. We'll keep it right here, Eddie. Charleston with the lead. We've seen a couple of teams just run out the clock, and like we saw in the Florida game, Charlie Boletsky took it home as the clock hit 0-0.
Yes, he did.
Drew this time will dump it off for swing to the near side. Whoa, what a spin move, and he's got room to run. He completely fooled Greg Gaines, and off he was to the races, down to the 34.
Yeah, Jacksonville came out in man defense, and they had a guy right there waiting to blow him up. But number 90 missed and whiffed on the tackle, and they were able to pick up significant yardage and pick up the first down.
I formation. Linebackers on the near side show blitz. They do come with the blitz. Drew over the middle. That's caught by Buchanan Simons. He has a blocker downfield. He's in the 30, and he gets out of one tackle and is finally taken down to the 18-yard line. This Charleston Predators defense, where has this offense been all season?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Jacksonville continues to employ this man defense, whether it's press or off man, and Charleston continues to take advantage of it. This offense is just clicking on all cylinders right now.
They can almost do nothing wrong, save for one interception. This Predator offense has been firing in all cylinders to paraphrase a better man than I am, as Sorensen this time gets tackled at the line of scrimmage by Norwood.
And with here 45 seconds left, you wonder if they're going to be aggressive and try to score another touchdown, or they're just going to be happy selling for 3. We'll see what the head coach decides to dial up here. Gun straight
package. It looks like they're going aggressive here, Eddie. From the 18 of Jacksonville, TD Drew looks near side to the out route. That's Simons who turns upfield and is turned out of bounds by Connor Darien and another member of the ball club. That's Alonzo Williams.
Yeah, TD Drew audible at the line of scrimmage and called for an out route for the receiver there, and he picks up what looks to be 9 yards. He saw that the way Jacksonville was lined up, there was going to be a risk taking that shot downfield, and decided to just chuck it down for an easy 9-yard completion.
Formation again as the Kings employ a 4-3 strategy to bring a couple extra linebackers into the play. Drew looking for the swing pass. That's taken away nicely, but not the drag route over the middle to the tight end. I believe that was Albert Russell in and on the reception. Excuse me, that will be Lyric Da Vinci in the reception. My apologies. Drew to throw. Looks over the middle, and it's deflected away. Incomplete. Bernard Gooden on coverage denies the touchdown.
Wow, I thought that was 7, but talk about way to lay out there and get that deflection, because I thought that was a touchdown because he got great help from his offensive line protecting him as that play developed, but great defense there by Jacksonville.
Second and goal from the 7 of Jacksonville. TD Drew and company knocking on the door of the end zone.
They're in zone this time, Tyler.
See if it helps him out here on second down. Drew to throw over the middle. Lyric Da Vinci had no touchdowns coming into the ball game this season. Now has 2.
Yes, he does. And for the first time today, unless I missed something, that's the first time I've seen Jacksonville come out in a cover 3 defense. They brought the safety down to the line of scrimmage over there by the sidelines, and they just threw it right to where he just left from. Touchdown, Charleston, and their offense is just clicking right now, Tyler.
7 plays, 79 yards, and Lyric Da Vinci with touchdown number 2 in the season, both in this football game. I gotta say, Eddie, these Charleston Predators look like they're ready for the playoffs.
Yes, they do. If they get in, Tyler, should they hold on to and win this ball game? Oh my goodness, who wants to play this team right now?
Absolutely, and it would be a spectacular loss if they were to allow Jacksonville back in this football game. Up by 28, they're pitching a shutout on defense. This ball club against a team that, again, Jacksonville lost a few players. Christian Christensen retired. They've lost a couple of linebackers. They have both their linebackers that they've contracted are both rookies this season, so they're trying to rebuild what, typically for a Jacksonville Kings squad here, Eddie, is a solid defense. And to their credit, they played pretty well. They do have 1 pick on TD Drew, but it's just this Charleston Predator offense has just been too much to handle.
Yeah, and actually, despite the fact that all the talent they lost, their defense didn't really take much of a hit in terms of points per game. Last season, they gave up 22.3 points per game. This season, they're giving up 29. So they're giving up 7 points more. And a lot of that is probably due to the loss of Marcus Sprouse, who was, in my mind, their best defensive player.
On a Gun Street, bump coverage on the outside. Will they go over the top? They do. Wide open receiver. Up goes Shea Carroll, and he's taken down from behind at the 34. And they're going to hustle back to the line. They call a timeout with 3 seconds to go. And more than likely, they either have 1 play to go for it, but it may be out of Derek Norman's range.
I think it will be, and they doubted that play at least 3 times earlier, but all 3 times they attacked Corey Minner. This time they run the same play to 50 XA post and decide to attack instead the other cornerback, Johnny Bravo. He was a step late getting over, and the ball went just over his outstretched hand for completion.
That's a little surprising considering that Bravo has more seasons in the SFL than Menor. And indeed, they are out of field goal range. They do have to try a Hail Mary. Anything to get points up on the board to end the half. Dunhill to throw. Charleston send 4. Pressure coming. He gets it away. Into the end zone. Deflected and incomplete. And Charleston goes into the half with a 28-0 lead. And it's been all Charleston today, Eddie.
It's been all Charleston, and the great thing about it is TD Drew. You ask him who his favorite receiver is, and the proof today is backed up in the pudding because his favorite receiver is the open one. No receiver on his team has more than 4 catches. Tight end Lyric Da Vinci, who has 2 touchdowns on the game, 4 catches. Jay Taylor, 1 catch. Buchanan Simons, his big money guy, he only has 3 catches, and Kim McCarroll has 2. This Charleston offense is spreading the ball around to whoever the open man is. He isn't forcing anything, that isn't there. And this offense capitalizing, if you see on the replay, with their running game as well. They are operating on all cylinders, which makes it hard to stop. And this Charleston offense, their defense has already been pretty solid. Last season they were solid, and despite losing a change in ownership group and losing Allen, they've been status quo all season long. And if their offense can perform up to this level as you see today, along with the defense that they're getting, as you see on the replay, that amazing interception to get their offense in great field position, Charleston can be a force to be reckoned with, and I would not want to play them in the first round.
Yeah, and just to go back on that pick there, Eddie, it looked like Jacksonville may have turned the tide a little bit because of Suckalomato's tip drill interception earlier, but that was a huge play for Corey Minner.
Corey Minner, yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone to tell you that defense wins championships, I'm one of them. I'm a firm believer in it. But in order to capitalize on those defensive efforts, you need your offense to pick you up and make plays off of that defense. Charleston has gotten both. They've been constantly given short fields today, and 3 out of the 4 times they had that short field, they scored touchdowns on them. And then to prove that they can do it with the big boys, they got that one punt that was not, you thought it was going to be down at the 1. It didn't. Jacksonville was unable to down at the 1. They got at the 20, and they marched downfield and looked like some of the best teams in the SFL, aka the Baltimores of the world, driving down the field 80 yards and scored a touchdown right before the end of the half.
And so now as we welcome you back to Charleston, South Carolina, here in Fort Moultrie Memorial Stadium, it's Charleston who will receive the opening kickoff of the second half, and that just compounds matters further for Jacksonville, down by that huge margin, and they're going to have everything. They have to have everything go their way, do the Kings, if they want to get back in this football game and have a shot of getting into the playoffs. It's a short kickoff for the opening kickoff of the second half, and Jay Taylor will get the return back up to the 32-yard line, and so the Predators will start in excellent field position to begin this second half.
They are, but I'm sure Frank Gooden, he's been around for a long time. This man has played in a championship game, for my goodness sake. He has no quit in him, and I'm certain he had a long talk with his team at halftime, and they got to try to turn this around. He's going to have to start on the defensive end.
Who calls signals already? What he doesn't like something he's seen in that defense here on the first play of the drive. High formation. Handoff Swearingen near side, has to escape a tackle and does, but then is met by Yakov Zolotov after picking up 3 yards.
But he had something going there because the guard actually pulled on that play and got out in front of him, but for whatever reason cut back inside and left Keith Swearingen out to dry.
And to counter Zvia's 47 mentioned there in chat, not officially. We still have to go through every scenario here tonight, which you will be able to catch live right here on the SFL Twitch channel as we break down the final 16 scenarios on a special edition of SFL at Night, as Keith Swearingen gets the swing pass, turns upfield, picks up the first down.
Yeah, Keith Swearengin was actually the last option for TD Drew, but no one was open, and no need to, force anything. Up 28 here in the second half, just chucks it down to his tailback, Keith Swearengin, who picks up a first down.
You set it downs here for Charleston as Swearengin is having himself a day, has roughly around 86 yards on the ground and 55 yards in the passing department. Right around, we're getting close to 150 yards in total all-purpose yards. He's going to add to that total. He's behind the coverage. He's to the 15, 10, 5, and into the end zone again is Keith Swearengin. An excellent day for the Ratback and the Predators. Oh my goodness, it's a blowout in Carolina.
They say in Chicago, you can put it on the board. Yes! Keith Swearengin scores another touchdown. This time you can see the guard pull out, and this time he remains disciplined, stays outside, blocks his man, frees it up for Keith Swearengin, and another touchdown for this Charleston offense. My goodness, this team is rolling.
And Jacksonville are looking in the eyes of a huge margin. They'll have to attempt to try and get themselves back in this game. This would be the largest comeback in SFL history, if I have my memory right. Eddie, would it be the largest comeback in SFL history? You know a lot more than I do.
I've been around for a long time, but up 35, I would hope so, because anything more than that, I mean, you start questioning the defense of both teams at that point, but wow. Jacksonville has a mountain of a hole to climb. The good thing for them is it took Charleston just over 2 quarters to get this lead, so perhaps Jacksonville can tie this ball game up and maybe even head into overtime with about the same amount of time remaining.
Jack Wall shouts me out and says, "Why not us?" Well, let's see what they do. It all starts with step 1, and that's getting this return up to the 25, provided by Kingston Ellington. For the first time in nearly 3 years, the SFL will broadcast playoff games on its own networks, and for the first time will offer simulcast of the playoff games on all SFL platforms: SFL Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Check out the 2 wildcard matchups Saturday, October 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern and Sunday, October 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern on all platforms. And stay tuned for official team and commentator pairings, as the first play from scrimmage here on the first drive of the second half for the Kings will be a pass to the outside for Grayson Willis, who picks up 7 yards.
Yeah, they were looking for that 50 XA post again, and this time Marcus Dunhill said enough is enough. It's been getting battered down all day. I'm just going to call an audible and send him on a 5-yard out route. Picks up 7 yards, and he lives to fight another day.
Dunhill under center, 2 tight ends to his right. Willis and I believe that's Ellington there on the far side, other wide receivers, as they hand off to Jared Willis, who again will find no yards. 8 attempts today, and he gets right back to the line of scrimmage. Just under 20 yards on the day.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for this Jacksonville offense in the run and pass game. They have been getting little push up front, despite these 4 contracted offensive linemen that they have. As you stated, they're a young bunch. It's going to take them some time.
Dunhill, quick drop, finds Willis out of the backfield, and he's taken down by Jack Brown, short of the sticks, and down by a boatload here as we're approaching the midway point of the third quarter. You're in your own territory, but I think you have to go for it with playoffs on the line.
I think you do too, but it looks like they're sending out the punt unit. They're bringing out the punt unit, and they're going to kick this ball off deep in their own end.
They'll play it safe and punt it away. Howard McCoy on the field once again today. High spiraling punt for Jay Taylor, and he'll call for a fair catch at the 34 and hauls it in cleanly. And we could go on and on today about how impressed we are with this Charleston Predator offense today, Eddie. They have played lights out today.
Yes, they've taken advantage, as we said, of the opportunity that their defense had afforded them with all those short fields.
From their own 34-yard line will be the first play of the drive. 8:32 left to go here in the third quarter. Handoff Swearengin up the middle, is able to get out of the arm tackle of Marcus Sledge, but is taken down. I believe that's number 42, Suckalomano, with the tackle.
Yeah, it was. And right now, it looks like Charleston may perhaps just decide to work on this clock and suck up as much of it as they can. And as I say that, they come out and gun.
Just like that, just shows us what we know, right? They're going to play aggressive and keep piling on the pressure. Drew looks near side, hauled in and caught by Ken Macaro. And he was the story in, I believe, on that last drive where, it should be 2 drives ago for the Predators, where TJ was his. He throws and barely got it off for Macaro, who had the big catch. And then they finished off that drive with a touchdown. Jacksonville's going to challenge. They're going to try everything to get something to go their way. I think he was in bounds. Let's go under the hood with our 62.
Yeah, I thought he was clearly in bounds as well, but we've been wrong once today already, so we'll see.
See what happens here as the catch does look like he was clearly in there, Eddie. We'll see what the call is.
I think he got the right end of that foot down.
After review, the play stands. The pass
And he did.
It indeed did stand. So another thing for Jacksonville that hasn't gone their way today. They now only have 2 timeouts remaining, and what crucially would be, if they are trying to mount a comeback, would be detrimental to their chances.
Absolutely. I mean, they lost both challenges today, so they don't have any more either remaining.
I formation, linebackers creep up, handoff Swearingen, who has to try and escape the pressure in the backfield. He can't do it. Tackle the yard behind the line of scrimmage, and the Kings get the Predator offense off the field for one of the rare times today.
Yeah, their defensive tackle actually pushed the right tackle about 2 yards in the backfield, leaving nowhere for Keith Swearingen to go.
On comes the punter, Wally Saddle, one of the very few times we've seen him today. Punts it away for Kingston Ellington, who will return this one from about the 21. Jukes, but he isn't fooling anyone this time around and taken down at the 25-yard line. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for links to apparel from Sector 6, the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. And get SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. Sector 6 features replica team jerseys and completely customized flags, t-shirts, and more. Get the gear the fans wear with Sector 6 and 97 Sports Promotions and the SFL. Dunhill to throw, fires over the middle. That's caught by Talon Steele, the tight end. And a good start to the drive, gets him 6 yards.
Yeah, and actually they did a great job of clearing out the zone and sending another receiver on a 9 route just ahead of them, leaving that area of the field open for completion.
Offset single back and 2 tight ends in the direction of the tailback with 2 wide receivers near side here on 2nd down. Dunhill, deep throw over the middle into coverage and incomplete. Zach Lay was the safety over there in coverage, and it brings up 3rd down.
Looking for Jared Willis on a go route. Grayson Willis on a go route. He was not there, and wow, I mean, Jacksonville is just having all kinds of problems finding an opening in this Charleston defense.
3rd down, big 3rd down for Jacksonville if they want to mount a comeback. Dunhill under pressure, hit as he throws, and the ball is fired into the turf. Good pressure there from Joseph Sabolka, the defensive tackle. And again, it's 4th down here for the Kings, and the time has quickly not become their friend with how explosive these Predators have been on offense.
Wow, yeah, Jacksonville is just not looking good for them right now. They're about to punt this ball away again, and I'm not even sure if Charleston has even punted today.
Charleston just put it on their previous drive.
That's right. You're right.
And we'll get a good number total for you here in just a moment as the return for Jay Taylor goes for about 3 yards. He's down at the 34. Yeah, Charleston
he's punted twice. Yeah.
It was twice today, and the rest of the time it's either been a touchdown or that early game interception that was, just a one-play drive on the ensuing drive for Jacksonville where they took the ball right back and then punched it in.
It may force him to take a pay cut this offseason if the offense keep moving this proficiently.
See what happens. Punch set far side. And one receiver near side. They'll throw toward the near side. That's caught by Taylor. And then immediately this offense goes right back to work with another efficient play. And they get another first down.
TD Drew, you're just wondering what's going through this young man's mind. All season long, this offense has struggled to move the ball downfield consistently. And today, he's making it look effortlessly as they approach the end of this season 17. And you just wonder how much noise and how much this is going to elevate his confidence come playoff time.
Empty backfield set. They are not playing conservative at all. They want to run up the score on these Kings. Bump coverage near side. Drew over the middle. That's caught by Ken Maccaro. That was an excellent run. It looked like an error route, and then he turned upfield and got behind the coverage.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. It looked like an error route or some kind of stutter go or something, because he sat there and then all of a sudden decided to take off. And you just wonder if he audible in the middle of that and had some kind of, notion to his quarterback, because that was a great looking play.
Through to pass again, near side. That's hauled in by Lyric Da Vinci. Turning upfield, gets 8 yards before being knocked out of bounds by Bernard Gooden and Yakov Zolotov. Not to toot my own horn, but the other day, Damon said on Ashley's podcast that the Arizona Scorpions offense reminded him of Michael Jordan in his prime. I beg to differ right now. This Charleston offense is just looking unstoppable. And they're being led by TD Drew, and Eddie, he only has 4 incompletions on 24 attempts. He's been spectacular, just finding open receivers and not trying to force anything.
QBR of 130.
High formation, handoff up the middle for Swearingen. Swearingen's gone again. An empty hole in the defense is quickly filled by Swearingen. Touchdown number 3, his second on the ground today.
If it was raining right here in Charleston, as it was during that Florida-Carolina game, the perfect saying right now for this game will be, when it rains, it pours, because this Charleston offense is just looking like they can do no wrong here today, Tyler.
Absolutely. On comes Brad Bretchett to tack home the extra point, and it's a vaunted score line. It has to be said, unfortunately for the Kings. Brad Bretchett's snap is low, but they do get it under control, and the kick is good. 42-0, your score line. The Predators are looking to cruise into the playoffs.
I can't remember the last time Jacksonville's defense has been shredded like we're seeing today. And you just wonder, is something going on? Because this is unprecedented what I'm seeing right now today, Tyler.
This is the best performance from the Charleston Predators for a full team perspective I've ever seen. This is to quote a man over in chat, this is a clinic for the Predators. An absolute lights out performance as we tick closer to the 5-minute mark here in the third quarter.
At this point in time of the game, given us the score, Jacksonville is playing for pride right now, and they want to try and move the ball downfield and put some kind of points on the board to show they can still compete in this league.
Offset single back here on first down for Jacksonville to begin the drive. Deep throw over the middle. It's caught by a diving Jay Carroll, and that gets them a little bit hyped up out there on the sideline. Down by 42. Plays like that will help get them down the field.
Jay Carroll's getting up off the ground and looking for a late hit from the officials. He did not get it, but he took a shot in the back that I'm certain he's going to feel tomorrow morning.
Now from the 47, Dunhill in the gun. This time around, 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left.
Gun doubles right.
Dunhill looking toward the left side of the field. It's caught, and the toe tap there on the sideline is good enough for Grayson Willis to haul that one in for 7.
Yeah, Grayson Willis, he was their number 2 receiver last season, but due to some changes, he's now the number 1 receiver, and he's had a productive year, but today just doesn't seem to be his day.
Not been the day at all for the Kings in general, and they're looking to right the ship here with a solid drive. Dunhill, deep throw over the middle into
Oh.
double coverage, incomplete as Johnny Bravo gets his hands on another pass.
You know how sometimes when that no fun league has their Super Bowl and they have 2 weeks to prepare for the game. Today it looks like Charleston has had 2 weeks to prepare their offense and their defense because they pretty much dialed up the right play in practically every given situation.
Continue to play a shutout ball game, looking to shut out the Kings here as it's another third down. They're only 3 of 10, the Kings are. They'll hand off with Jared Willis. They're trying to get the first down. They can't again. That's the 11th attempt on third down and another one that goes for naught.
Jared Willis is going to come up short, and it looks like they are bringing the punting unit out once again, and yes, they are. In this situation, I probably would have gone for it.
I think the Jacksonville faithful would agree with you, Eddie, as McCoy on for another punt. This one is angled right at Jay Taylor, and he can't get anything going. He's tackled the 16, and let's take maybe a little bit deeper look into the playoff scenarios. Charleston, more than likely at this point, has this advantage and will more than likely walk in the playoffs with a victory. What are some teams that you think, Eddie? I mean, you got your Arizona Scorpions have already clinched a playoff, and we're probably sitting around maybe 6th seed, maybe 5th seed with things going their way. Is this the matchup you want to see? Maybe a Charleston and Arizona matchup, or are you looking at a different team for Charleston to face off when they get in the playoffs?
Well, I tell you what, the Arizona faithful, we back down from 0 challenges. But should we face the Charleston Predators in the first round at home in Fatality Field, it's going to be all hands on deck because we would need it the way they look right now.
Drew looks to pass, tipped up in the air and incomplete as Zolotov gets his hand out there to knock it away, and up comes 3rd and 12.
Let me tell you about Zolotov right there. Jacksonville was in man coverage. His responsibility was to tailback Keith Swearingen, but Keith Swearingen ran out to the flat about a yard past beyond the line of scrimmage, and so he decided to help out his buddy who was out there. Corey Minner covering the flat. He went out there and deflected that ball. That was a great play by Zolotov.
See if he can make another stellar play here on 3rd and 12. Through to throw, pressure coming. He fires to the outside to an open receiver who's touchdown at the out of bounds line. It's short 3 yards of the line to gain. Buchanan Simons, the intended target, who brings it in. And the Predators will go on the field, and they're going to punt it away this time, Eddie.
Yeah, they are. And Stephen Hacker's in the SFL Twitch channel educating us all, saying that Charleston themselves is carrying the over-under for this game.
We'll see if the Jacksonville offense has anything to say about it, as the return there from Kingston Ellington will get a couple yards up to the 45-yard line as we get closer to the end of the third quarter. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left to go here, Eddie.
Yes, it is. And at this point, as much as you hate to say it, it looks like Jacksonville is just playing out the formalities here and just trying to wrap up this season, keeping everyone healthy.
1st and 10 from their own 45. Dunhill to throw. Middle, that's caught by Talon Steele. Picks up 7. And now going over on Next Level Sports is the Vancouver Legion taking on the Portland Fleet in what that promises to be a crucial game for both clubs. Portland needing a win, and they're also in, kind of similar scenario to Charleston, while Vancouver with a win and a little bit of help, I think, or maybe it's just winning in for Vancouver and the division title in that Pacific Division.
Yeah, playoff positioning. Oh my goodness.
Middle, incomplete. Zach Lay again with a diving attempt at a pick.
And I don't think that was even Zach Lay's responsibility right there, but he saw his partner over there in disarray and comes over to help out and makes a diving attempt to he almost intercepted that ball there, Tato. This Charleston defense, oh my goodness. I mean, talk about selling out, sacrificing your body to make a play.
I don't know what they had in their Wheaties today. They got all the Wheaties and then some. This defense is, I think with that collision with Willis, I think that knocked it out of his hands, and it brings up this 3rd down play. Willis to throw, fires, and that will be good enough for only their fourth third down conversion. They're 4 of 12 today, but that will help them march down the field and convert on third down.
Yeah, and the way that Jacksonville's offense is constructed, they're built to pick up, first downs in third and short situations. So to see that number that low is kind of surprising to me today, which just goes to show just how well this Charleston defense has played.
Tight ends to the left. Jared Willis in the backfield. They'll run to the far side with Willis. He gets a couple blockers, and then he has room to run down to the 15, and he gets taken down from behind at the 13-yard line. And we haven't seen Willis get that much room at all today. His biggest run of the contest.
We haven't, but Marcus Dunhill, he saw what Charleston was doing that time. They actually brought the strong safety down near the line of scrimmage, and what does he do? He just hands the ball off to Jared Willis, who runs to the opposite side where the safety is deep in coverage. Easy first down for Jacksonville.
Brand new set of downs inside the red zone. One of the few times, I think this is the only time the Kings have been in the red zone today. Dunhill to throw over the middle. That's caught. Shea Carroll with the reception picks up 4 yards.
Slow developing play as you have to wait for the receiver to clear all the way across from outside the numbers to inside the hash marks. Credit to his offensive line for giving him the time he needed to make that play happen.
Jacksonville looking for their first points of the ball game. Now at the 8-yard line. Dunhill to throw over the middle into coverage, deflected and incomplete. Jack Hoffman was there. Ill-advised throw from Dunhill, and it's third down.
Jack Hoffman wasn't satisfied with just the tip. He was trying to intercept that ball as it was falling to the ground. He dove on the ground right with it, trying to pick it up. Talk about never giving up on a play despite the score.
Another third down from Jacksonville. They converted one already on this drive. Now can they get another third down and maybe even get into the end zone? Dunhill looks near side, caught, reaching out for the first down, and he'll get it. That's Kingston Ellington, who will move the chains, and they'll give him the yardage, even though being marked at the 3-yard line.
Kingston Ellington coming down with his third catch of this ball game for 18 yards, and that one, had he broken the tackle, he may have scored.
Well, it's first and goal from the 3. Handoff, Jared Willis, far side. Can't get anything going. He's taken down behind the line. A loss of 2, and the clock will tick away as we end the third quarter. Get your 4s up and 86s up in chat. You're watching the Simulation Football here on Twitch, presented by APM Music. Last quarter of action coming your way. As we just mentioned, the SFL is presented by APM Music. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service, as APM is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. Visit apmmusic.com to explore their library and find the tracks that'll fit your project. Dunhill, pass over the middle, deflected and incomplete. Hoffman again with the deflection, and it'll bring up third down.
Charleston, their defensive coordinator must have confidence in this front 4, because on a previous play, despite them being inside the 5, they lined up in nickel. This play, they line up with 2 tight ends and they come out in a base 4-3. They said we don't need goal line. We got a front 4 we're confident in, and they getting the job done so far.
8 men in the box. Dunhill to throw, looking near side, tipped and nearly picked off by Jack Brown. He was looking for his second pick 6 of his career.
Yes, he was. In back-to-back weeks, he got one last week versus Carolina, and had he held on to that ball, it would have been a foot race. And as long as his stamina is up, he would have scored another one.
And now, for the first time today, Derek Norman takes the field, the kicker. Can he break the 0 and put a crooked number on the board? This, more than likely a chip shot. 21 yards out from the left hash. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is good, and the shutout is no more as Derek Norman breaks the deadlock, and they finally on the board.
As a defense, you hate to give up points, especially when trying to hold on to a shutout. But given the situation, it was 1st and goal inside the 10 and a force a field goal attempt. That's a win for the defense in my book.
That is the longest drive of the football game. 11 plays, 51 yards, and it culminates with Jacksonville's first points of the ball game coming on the leg of Derek Norman, who boots it downfield for Jay Taylor on the ensuing kickoff, and Taylor gets it all the way up to the 32-yard line, and the Predators, with the lead and the football, could very well just salt out the remainder of this time, or as much time as they can.
Late in the second half, we thought Charleston would come out and try to run out the clock. Instead, they came out and gunned straight, and here they are again, up big in the fourth, coming out and gun straight again.
Well, if they're comfortable with it, not giving the ball away, it'll help. TD Drew on the run near side.
Oh.
And Simons. TD Drew. Eddie, to paraphrase what you said earlier, this team can do nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. I mean, that's a 50-50 ball, and you just hope and pray that your receiver gets up and meets it at the highest point. On this attempt, he didn't even bother jumping. He just waited for the ball to come down to him, uses his body as a shield away from the defender, and comes up with a terrific catch to move the chains.
I mean, that ball was going right to Connor Darian, but Buchanan Simon sticks his arms out in the path of the football and just takes it away from him like a kid taking candy away from a baby. My goodness. Offset eye behind TD Drew. One wide receiver off to the left. And off Swearingen up the middle. Has another hole to run through. He's off the races again. He finally is taken down from behind by Connor Darian Bernard Gooden, the other corner back for Jacksonville. Oh my goodness. Another solid day for Keith Swearingen. Right around 170 yards on the ground today.
Yeah, at this point, you just wonder if fatigue is beginning to play a factor with this Jacksonville front four, because Taquan Hill, Hunter Norwood and company are just having a hard time closing up these holes.
Updated stat for you on the rushing total. Swearingen is a couple yards away from 200. That's going to hurt his total as it goes backwards 3 yards as the defense gets back. And there it's Mike Peterson in on the tackle.
Yeah, they had enough of this, and they actually brought the linebackers on what looked like a run blitz. I could be wrong, but if your front four isn't getting it done, sometimes you got to bring in help.
Second down for the Charleston Predators. And they're going to come out in the gun again. 3 wideouts, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. And Swearingen off to TD Drew's right in the backfield. Nickel look for the Kings. TD Drew pumps once, now decides to fire to Buchanan Simons. And Buchanan Simons, it hits his hand and falls incomplete.
Yeah, he let his receiver out to dry that time. That ball should have been going to his tight end, Da Vinci, but he elected not to, and Simons got popped as soon as he caught that ball. He's lucky to get up off the turf.
And we all know how good Buchanan Simons is, but right now the hot hand is Lyric Da Vinci. He has 2 touchdowns in the day. That's a good point there, Eddie. Third down for the Predators. Gun straight package, trips to the left this time around. TD Drew will fire to the outside. On this play, finds Jay Taylor, who will be short of the line to gain, as it's a good coverage tackle out there in the flats. And it'll be 4th and 4, and on comes Brad Bretchett to answer a field goal made by the kicker on the other side of the field for Jacksonville, Derek Norman.
Yeah, on that play, I thought Grayson Willis actually had a shot. He had the angle matched up against a free safety who was running the 9 route, and I thought if he could have elected to go for it, but up with this lead, he decided not to.
This to nearly tie the over-under. Kick is up from Bretchett and through from 34 yards out, and the Predators now lead 45-3.
There's a lot of great SFL content out here, and Ashley has her weekly wrap-up shows. You have your show, I have mine, Coach Craven has his. There's a lot of great content, along with a lot of controversial stories, so to speak, and I think it's good for the league. We, as content creators, do our best to keep storylines going in the SFL, Tyler, and we got a lot of good stories going on in the SFL. And I encourage any content creator, yourself, myself, everyone included, to keep doing what we're doing because I think it's great for the SFL. We don't have as much content as we used to have with guys going through real life scenarios, but the content that we do have, I think is beneficial to the league, Tyler.
I completely agree with that statement. You mentioned SFL Nights with AJ Stryker, Netma with myself and Kendra Hall, and of course, the newest show on the block here in the SFL.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That show's hitting off the mark, as well as SFL Fights and Insights over there with Axel Raven and company. Another solid show. And for all those future minor leaguers or current minor leaguers out there, that's another show to go and check out. Because there's a lot of good information. They've already covered, what everything means, what you should be working on. We've covered, I think, almost all of the current minor league teams in there. Again, content is nothing but a good thing for the league.
Axel Raven is picking up where Dave Axis left off, along with the magazine out of Louisiana, Swamp Talk, and he has taken the SFL minor leagues and gave those guys a platform to speak on and be heard and be recognized and get a chance to get their name out there. Axel Raven, kudos to you, young man. Keep up the work. We appreciate it.
3rd down and 7 for the Kings. Gun straight package on the field as Dunhill's back to pass, looking far side and the coverage. And what a play made there. Johnny Bravo again, a stellar play, and it's another 3 and out for the Kings.
Yeah, I thought he had him beat, but at the last moment showed some closing speed and was able to catch up to the receiver and make a deflection. I guess he got tired of getting picked on after Corey Manor showed his medal the past few series.
Jacksonville already avoided the shutout. I think, like you said, Eddie, they're just wanting to go into the offseason with a little bit of confidence. They got points on the board today, and they're just going to do the safe and smart thing and punt it away to Charleston. Now with 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go, Charleston was able to put a drive together last time out, kick home a field goal. Now they're going to have to do probably the same thing and just take more time off this clock.
The playoffs start next week, Tyler. Baltimore will be sitting at home, licking their wounds, getting healed up. The coach is going to take a break from coaching for a while. They're going to get away from reality for a week. And then they're going to face off, in the second round. Baltimore has gone undefeated this season. They haven't been really tested, although Queen City gave them a run for their money. Who do you think, if anyone, stands a chance to knock them off their undefeated perch?
Well, when you take a look at Baltimore's schedule, they don't have too many teams above 500 that they face. And the teams they have had to play in those tough scenarios, Queen City, a game that has been circled on many people's calendars for a long time coming, especially as week 6 came around. Portland and St. Louis sitting above 500. Another the only other teams, they got LA in week 1 as well. So they got 4 teams that are above 500. The rest of their 7 matchups have been teams that currently are below 500. So they've had to beat, and they have beaten every single team that they've come across. And that's a huge statement for everyone over in Baltimore. They've done what they need to do. They face London tonight, and London, who's looking to get into playoffs. It's going to be a tight, chippy contest. Johnny Pickler and company are going to try and knock Baltimore off their porch. That's going to be a fun game to watch. That comes up late tonight over on Next Level. I think that's game number 7 tonight of SFL coverage here in week 12. We'll get you more information as we can go ahead and look that up for you here shortly. Charleston's going to go ahead and punt this one away with just under 6 minutes to go. Kingston Ellington calls for the fair catch at the 18. And back to the playoffs, Eddie, to say which team would knock off Baltimore, I have stated a couple of times on Netma that I truly believe it's going to be a Baltimore-Florida championship. And that game, just like all championships, will be must-watch territory.
I totally agree. That is one team I would like to see Baltimore play in the regular season. They did not, but to their credit, you can only play who's matched up in front of you, and they took advantage of each situation and came out with a win each and every week. That said, Baltimore was hot last season, and then they ran to a buzzsaw in Florida. And Mighty RX, I'm telling you, I mean, Baltimore has 2 Hall of Fame coaches coaching that team, so they don't have as much responsibility, and they can focus their time towards their respective sides of the ball. Look at this deep pass. What a great,
Dunhill with a nifty throw on the run. He'll find Jack Wall for only Jack Wall's, I believe that's only his 2nd or 3rd grab of the ball game.
I think it's his 2nd, but yeah, that was a great play. I mean, talk about keeping your eyes downfield. Marcus Dunhill reverting back to his MVP days with that catch, with that throw, excuse me. But back to my conversation, they were hot last season, and then they ran to Florida, and Florida had a game plan for the ages. They controlled the ball in the first half, before in the second half they exploded early in that 3rd quarter to help set a tone and get themselves a 2-score lead, and they ended up, coasting to a win. If anyone stands a chance, I'm not going to talk about Arizona because I coached that team, but if anyone stands a chance to me, it would be Florida.
Play action again. Dunhill over the middle into coverage, tipped and incomplete. Oh my goodness, we've called his name too many times to count at this point. Johnny Bravo, his first catch of the ball game on the defensive side of the ball was an interception, and he's gotten his hands up there in those tight, deep down the field passes, and Jacksonville just hasn't had too much success in that category.
They have not all day. I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's as if Charleston had 2 weeks to prepare for this game because they've been ready in every aspect of it. Look at that pass.
With a counter out. This time
turn around.
it's not, and he goes backward, then turns quickly upfield as Grayson Willis knocked out at the 9-yard line.
I mean, look at this throw. I hope we get a good replay on it. Oh, we didn't. Oh, that's unfortunate because he put some touch on that ball because there was a defender near him, so he couldn't quite put zip on it. He had to put some air above the football, and he got it just over the defender's outstretched hand for completion to Grayson Willis. That was a great throw.
Beautiful throw from the season 14 MVP, not just of the season in season 14, but also I believe he was also the season 14 championship MVP. Dunhill looking far side. He'll find his man. That's Jay Carroll, who also has to try and turn around. He gets out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, had he been able to corral himself there and didn't have to come back for the football, that could have been a touchdown. But that just shows the kind of day that this Jacksonville offense has had. But they still have 3 downs to try and get a touchdown here.
Downs, I think they used up all 3 downs and then some in order to kick home the 3 points last drive. Now they're trying to look for a touchdown. Dunhill over the middle, caught and tackled short of the end zone. Kicks it in with the reception and tackled by Harold Sword. Dunhill to throw again here on 3rd down. Pressure coming. He's taken down in the backfield all the way back at the 11-yard line by Vince Spear. As it appears for Charleston, the backups are in.
Yeah, that was 50 XA post, and unfortunately, due to the position that Jacksonville's on the field, it left their receivers nowhere to run. But now they got some space. Let's see what happens.
To the right, gun straight package. Dunhill to throw, looking into the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Shea Carroll with the reception, and they have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to mount a potentially 35-point comeback.
That's the 3rd pass we've seen Marcus Dunhill make on this drive with excellent touch. As I thought the defender was going to be able to back that ball down, but he put enough zip on it that did not allow him time to get over there and make a play on it. Why he was so far inside in the first place, I have no idea, but Marcus Dunhill took advantage of the situation and put 6 on the board.
Derek Norman on to attempt the extra point and to put double digits on the board for his ball club in Jacksonville. Snap spot, kick is up, and it is good, and we hit the over. It was Charleston leading the way, but Jacksonville's late scores have pushed it over. So if you took the over provided by Jack's Data at 48.5, well, you're a lucky man. You're a better than I am.
See, that's why I don't gamble, because I'm too cheap. If I lose $5, I'm upset.
On comes the special teams unit. They're going to try and go for this onside kick, and indeed they have to. as it's bobbled.
Oh, it's
It's still
bobbled.
loose, and it is finally recovered. And
I
I
think
think was
Jacksonville
covered by
got it.
Kingston Ellington.
Yeah, Jacksonville got the football.
Let's take a quick closer look. It was off a couple of people's shoes and then
Yeah.
finally recovered by Kingston Ellington. Jacksonville with the football, and maybe there's a chance for Jacksonville to come back in this game. What insanity will ensue? Jacksonville in excellent field position. They need 5 scores in 3 minutes 30 seconds. They need 5 onside kicks, and on each onside kick, they roughly need about 60 yards. So it begins here on their own 42-yard line. Dunhill with a deep drop. Passes to the outside, into cover, and somehow caught on the sideline. Shea Carroll is becoming the late feel-good story for these Kings.
Wow, how did Johnny Bravo not come up with that interception? I have no idea because it looked, he just missed it, Tyler.
I think that's the same play in the first quarter where Johnny Bravo came up with the interception. This time, Dunhill and Carroll find a way to connect.
That they did. And perhaps there wasn't Johnny Bravo on the field, but that was an excellent attempt.
Backups are in. That's probably why.
There you could go.
Dunhill, deep pass over the middle, caught by Grayson Willis inside the red zone down to the 17. Third red zone trip of the day for Jacksonville. Dunhill to pass from the 17, looking far side, and it's tipped and incomplete. Wayne Fletcher with the deflection.
You know you have a good game plan when your backups are making plays also, Tyler.
Absolutely. It takes a whole team effort to be up by this much and to be confident in putting your backups in the action and for them to perform like we've seen there on the last play. We'll see if they can keep it up. Dunhill now under center after going into the gun the last couple plays. So 7 left to go. Dunhill, quick drop over the middle, hauled in, and running toward the end zone is Jack Wall. Another reception, make that number 98 on the season, as he keeps reminding us.
Trying to get to 100.
Dunhill tries to fire, taken down by his shoestrings. A loss of a couple by Bob Mallet. Dunhill to throw again. Jack Wall and up over the middle, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Jack Wall. He's reminding everyone in chat of where he stands right now. It's going to be unfortunate if he just misses 100, Tyler.
It'll be I think depressing for Jack Wall, a little bit depressing for him if he's not able to hit his target. However, if they do make a comeback and get all their onside kicks, we could see a lot of points going on the board and a lot of passes coming his direction. Gun straight, 3rd and goal. Dunhill takes the snap, fires to the corner, deflected and incomplete as Josh Reese is still out on the field and he takes one away from Marcus Dunhill.
Speaking of career stats, in this game, Marcus Dunhill surpassed former OKC quarterback and Tulsa quarterback Deacon Nickens all time in passing yards.
Another one to add to the column. It is now 4th and goal. Last 4th down play came in nearly the same exact spot where they are able to convert. Can they go for it again and convert again? Dunhill to throw. Fires near side in the corner. No! The toe drag does not count. The toes were on the end line, and the Charleston Predators take over on downs.
I thought he got his left foot in bounds. We got to take another look at that one.
Let's see. They're going to go extreme slow motion.
Yeah, they are. And I don't think we're going to get a good look at that one.
It'll probably take a half hour to get to the receiver. There it is. And
it's hard to see.
He does look like he was out of bounds. We'll see if any challenges come of it. But the comeback might have been.
Well, Frank's out of challenges, so he can't challenge it.
That's true. That's unfortunate for Jacksonville. And now here come the Predators. Backups are in, mind you. So handoff comes up the middle for Carroll Knight, and Knight is unable to find any space. No, Swearingen's still in the football game.
You know, it's unfortunate because Grayson Willis is actually currently just 3 yards shy, unofficially, of reaching 1,000 yards receiving for season 17.
if the defense is able to hold up, they will get another chance, as the game going over on Next Level also appears to be a blowout. Vancouver have a 17-point lead over Portland going over that football game. Meanwhile, the Predators look to wrap up this one and head into the playoffs with a ton of momentum, as the Kings will bid farewell to this season if they're somehow unable to find a way back into this football game, down by 35. And early on here, Eddie, it was all Predators, and that took them the distance today.
Yeah, I mean, they came out smoking and set the tone here early in that first quarter and pretty much ran away with it.
Now it'll be the first carry of the ball game for Carroll Knight. He'll get about 5 yards before being taken down. He looked close to breaking one.
Yeah, and speaking of, stats on the season, with today's game, TD Drew came in 268 yards short of 3,000 on the season. He met that mark as well. Keith Swearengin needed 47 yards to reach 1,000 rushing on the season.
He
met that goal. Yeah, he shattered it.
Knight on the carry. He'll be a yard shy, and Jacksonville will call their final timeout with 1:53 to go.
It looks like the only player shy of reaching 1,000 yards on the season, which could have, is Buchanan Simons. He needed 139 yards coming into this game to reach 1,000 on the season, and he currently is at 101 unofficially.
And that's kind of surprising from someone who we know that can make big plays. I think it was the early season uncertainty of where they would end up. They started out the season, did Charleston, with a couple of wins, and then they lost 3 straight, which didn't help their chances in the slightest.
It did, yeah, you're right. They started off slow, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And thankfully for them, they didn't fall too much in a hole, and they were able to fight back. And here they are on the verge of clinching a playoff spot.
Dunhill in the gun, trying to make last-minute heroics and get some more confidence for his guys. Pass over the middle, intercepted, and that should just about be that. Tommy Zanardi in on the pick, and that will just about do it here in Charleston, South Carolina.
I mean, for Charleston, they had their thanks for coming good night and drive home safely moment a long time ago, but that play right there is going to pretty much end Jacksonville's season for their offenses. Charleston's looking to run out the clock.
So Jacksonville will fall 2-4-8 on the season, officially eliminating them from playoff contention. And a couple of good performances. They got their first win back in week 5 to St. Louis after a rough start for that young core of linebackers. And bringing back Marcus Dunhill. They found a little bit of life. They won 3 straight, beating Carolina and Tulsa after St. Louis. And then they ran into Mexico City and Baltimore and Florida, 3 tough teams. They had to play Florida twice this season. Not the best, not the greatest schedule, especially for a young team like Jacksonville this season. But they can hold their heads high with a couple of big wins and getting their first win and having a little bit more consistency toward the end of the season. But ultimately, it just wasn't enough here today, as Charleston will now officially clinch a playoff berth here, Eddie. And we've talked a lot about their offense. Their defense played well. Let's talk about their season real quick. Started off the season beating Las Vegas and Louisiana, dropped 3 straight, and then beat Lone Star San Diego and Sioux Falls. They finish off with a win against Carolina and Jacksonville. Looking really strong here with this performance today going into the playoffs.
Yes, they are. I mean, it's only one game, but sometimes all it takes is one game to get hot, for the coaches to put something together that sticks. They found it today, and they're going to try to take that momentum and ride high as the playoffs start. I mean, like I said earlier, who wants to play this team the way they just beat up on Jacksonville today? I don't think anyone does.
Are we taking volunteers at this point, Eddie? Which team wants to volunteer to play this hot ball club? We'll have to see. And we're going to have to see later tonight and into tomorrow afternoon to get officially where everyone will be ending up and when each team will be playing. But today in Week 12, Charleston take care of business in sound fashion with a impressive 45-10 victory. We've talked about the season. We've talked about the game. Let's close up shop for both Jacksonville and Charleston's regular season, Eddie.
I mean, Jacksonville, we knew there was a major overhaul. They had a number of guys retire, a number of guys that were let go. They made a major overhaul to their team. So we knew it would be tough sledding, at least early on. But I think the key for Jacksonville, you touched on it earlier, they have 4 offensive linemen. They are hard to come by. And moving forward, offensive linemen, they aren't really much of they're in demand, but there just aren't many of them. Jacksonville now has 4, so they can just work on that core. And should the league expand rosters, as Cam and our commissioner has talked about along with our SFL leadership, Jacksonville's in a driver's seat because they'll have 4 offensive linemen who spent this entire season progressing. If they can keep those guys intact and work on this nucleus and continue to build and grow, and they stay with Frank, who's a Hall of Fame coach in his own right, Jacksonville has a promising future. They've been there in the past. We know he can get back there again. As for Charleston, they had change in ownership. There was not much expectation for this team. Allen departed, and everyone thought that defense would go right with him, but it didn't. Despite him leaving, this defense, for the most part, remained intact, and they've been solid all season. The offense, on the other hand, was the key for this team because they had the consistency that they've had in previous seasons, not so much recent, but in previous seasons. And they weren't so much a strength of this team recently. But if they can continue to play with the confidence that they displayed today, getting short fields and capitalizing with touchdowns, driving 80 yards as they did just before the half, and putting up points the way they did, it's going to take a lot of pressure off this defense, and they will be a contending team for a time to come. As Keith Swears is our player of the game, 22 rushes, 188 yards, and 2 touchdowns, another receiving touchdown along with 55 yards. He carried this offense on his back along with the plays of T.D. Drew and Charleston. Good luck playing these guys next week.
Absolutely. And for Eddie Gage, Stephen Hacker, and the Commissioner Cameron Irvine, thanks for joining us here in South Carolina. More football to come later tonight. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Arizona, I love y'all. Let's go, man.